Hi good people, Titus here for part 8 of our Flashbang mini-series, and in this video I'll be showing off the box cutter add-on to create some openings for our pins to sit in. Let's not waste any time and jump right into it. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select this handle piece here, and I'll shift select our first pin, press / to bring it into isolation mode, press Control 1, and then I'm going to zoom in so we can get a pretty decent view of our shape here. I'm going to select the handle, so that's our active selection. I'm only going to be using the pin as a reference image for when I make the actual hole. I'm going to select my box cutter section here, and then at the top I can either select my shape, which I'm already in circle, or you can press D, and then you actually have your options here. I'm going to leave it on 32 segments because I think that'll be just smooth enough where it won't look a little bit jagged, kind of like how this rounded piece here looks a little bit jagged. So we'll go 32, and then you just simply drag on your shape. You can press G to grab it to move it around a little bit more precise, S to scale it. If you're happy with how it looks, you can drag center, push it through, and then you can drag back, pull it out, get a better view of it. If it's too big, you can press S, scale it down, and I'm going to go maybe right about there. I'm letting the mirror modifier take care of the other side, which looks a little bit low, and I think I can press G to grab it up, and then I can also do it from this side too. And then make sure it still makes sense over here. And it looks like it does. If I'm happy with that shape, I can just press enter, lock it in. Press / to come out of isolation mode. And the first one looks pretty good. Now, anytime you do any type of Boolean operations, generally what you'll want to do is go into your shape, and then if we apply it, because if I go into edit mode, you can't see it, but I can go to my difference Boolean here and apply it, and then you'll notice the shape isn't triangulated. Now most of the time you'll want to basically triangulate especially if you're exporting to like a tool like Marmoset toolset or Substance to do texture painting, or even exporting to like Unreal Engine or any other 3D modeling software. The software may not triangulate correctly, so your shape may collapse or it may not even look right at all. So generally triangulation is you're like going into vertex mode, you're selecting each point and joining it so you make triangles. Because I used a large circle, that's going to take a very long time, and then I'd also have to do it on this side, and then even with a mirror modifier, which would help, where I wouldn't have to do the one side, it's still kind of a tedious process, but it's still a process you want to do. If you don't, what you can do is there is a modifier called triangulate. As soon as I can find it here, there it is. You can actually add that on, and I leave the defaults at beauty with minimum of 4, and then I can apply that, and if we go into the shape, you can see it does the triangulation for you. So that's kind of like a shortcut. So that way when we export it, in this case I'm going to try Marmoset to do the texturing. We'll want to do that beforehand, otherwise it's not going to export correctly in Marmoset. So, and eventually Unreal Engine too. It may not look correct. You might be, it's like sometimes you can get away, especially like with this shape. I don't think it'd be a problem because it's very simple. But if you're doing like a model set that's very heavy on the difference booleans where you're joining shapes and stuff, you can get a lot of issues where when you export it out, it just looks nowhere close to what it looks like in Blender. So, and that might be the step that you're missing. Okay, so now what we can do is we can select this pin and we'll select the fuse, and we'll / Control 1. I'm already in my box cutter mode. I have my circle selected, 32 segments. I'm gonna just drag over here. Whoops, I'm gonna right click to cancel that. I'm gonna click only this shape. That way it drags flat. And then I'll grab here. And I'm gonna just grab center, pop it all the way through, grab center, pull back. And now I can look around And I'm gonna grab, pull it up a bit, scale it down. I gotta be very careful. You can see it's kind of pulling down maybe a little bit there. So maybe I will scale it down a bit more, move it over. Actually, it looks like that might actually be our pin coming through. So we might need to move the pin a bit. So actually the hole might be okay. So let's lock that in. And yes, I think it's actually our pin that's the problem. So let's come out of isolation mode, grab our pin and our ring. Hopefully this didn't mess us up too much here. We'll go back to selection mode real quick. Control 1. And I'm gonna grab ever so slightly in the X, move it over. And then select these two pieces. And that looks a lot better. So now we're not peeking through there. Okay, so we got our first selection done. Now we just need our second one. So let's select this piece and this piece, isolate, Control 1, we'll zoom in, go to box cutter here. We got circle select, 32 pieces. I'll make sure my fuse is the only piece selected. Drag a little circle there, G to position it. I'll punch it through, pull it back, and then cut from this side, G to grab. I'm gonna move it up just a smidge, scale it down, grab down a little bit there. So I'm gonna have to scale that a bit bigger. All right, that looks okay. Yeah, I am actually happy with that. So we'll press enter, lock it in, come out of isolation, give it a once over, and see how we do. Looks good. Select our fuse, isolate. We will apply our Boolean operations. We'll tab over. You'll see it's not triangulated. So what we can do is go to our modifiers, add triangulate. We can't apply it in edit mode, so we'll tab out, apply, tab back in, and then you are triangulated. All right. Come out of isolation mode, give it one last look around. And I think that looks pretty okay. All right, people, this was a short one. We'll cut it here, and then we'll save the text accents for the next one. But thanks for watching, consider subscribing, and we'll see you on the next one.